tonight. CNN reporting that they are going through final prep right now before the 9 p.m. Eastern start. We're asking all of you what you want to hear from them tonight. Ivy in Washington, supporting the former president. It's your turn.
Hi, good evening, and thank you. Can you hear me?
We can.
Okay. Well, I think that having served in immigration, amnesty, refugee settlement, and migration for 20 years, I think that my primary issue is immigration. I think there should be an elimination of birthright citizenship. I think that non-citizens should not be current citizens. I also believe that in most cases, we need to address the U.S. agriculture, specifically Black farmers who have been awarded money in settlements from the USDA with direct racism, but have not paid out those
an echo there, but I think we heard the gist of it on immigration. Kevin in Fort Wayne, Indiana, undecided. What?
Yeah.
So, what are you waiting for to decide?
I'm a political atheist.
What does that mean?
Trump, well, I'll explain it in these terms.
Okay.
Mr. Trump has shown a total lack of respect for our institutions of government that extends across the spectrum from the Justice Department through the legislative branch to obviously the executive branch.
Okay, so a lack of respect. Can you tell us what you want from President Biden?
I'd like President Biden to point that out significantly to the American people as a matter of explaining to the American people, as he's attempted recently, why Mr. Trump is terribly unfit to ever be president again of the United States.
All right, Kevin, I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to go inside the spin room. California Governor Gavin Newsom is talking to the media, supporter of President Biden.
He was talking about sinking electric boats. The teleprompter went out and he panicked. There's some legitimate questions there as well.
How have you counseled the president as he prepared for this debate?
How do you counsel someone who has more debate experience than any modern American president? He's been at this more than anybody. In fact, what I wanted to do when I saw him is says, can you counsel me on how to relax tonight? Because as someone that's not up there, I probably have more anxiety than he does. He delivers each and every time. He meets these moments. You've seen it. I haven't seen an exception. Look back. He meets these moments. He delivers. Have all the honestly, all the confidence in the world. He'll do that again tonight. The only thing that's interesting is how this mic issue will play out.
Tell us more about that.
Just interesting.
Well, what do you mean by interesting? The mute button's new. How significant is that? We've never had that before.
So it's just interesting, right? All of us are interested in it. What does that mean? I mean, here's a guy who talks over, tries to bully everybody. It's all about intimidation. It's all about, trying to get someone off their script of sorts or of their game. It plays very differently. If he's sitting there mouthing off and you have a split screen and people are like, why is he talking and I can't hear him? And he looks a little more unhinged because he is reasonably already unhinged. But that may temper his temperament tonight, having the mic not being on, and that may be an advantage. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Thank you, Governor.
Thanks, guys.
Governor Gavin Newsom there talking to the media, previewing tonight's debate, talking about the candidates when they square off, what it will be like. You could go back to 2020 to get an idea of what tonight will be like. Different rules, as we've talked about. Back in 2020, during the first presidential debate, the then president, President Trump, interrupted the then Vice President Joe Biden over 100 times. As you heard from the governor, as you've heard throughout leading up to tonight's debate, the microphones will be muted. And so they hope that that's going to cut down on interruptions. An issue discussed back in 2020, likely to come up again this evening, is the issue of abortion. Back in 2020, in that debate, following former President Trump's appointment of Amy Coney Barrett to the Supreme Court, here's how the topic played out before the striking down of Roe v. Wade.
The point is that the president also is opposed to Roe v. Wade. That's on the ballot as well in the court. And so that's also at stake right now. And so the election is already begun.
You don't know it's on the ballot. Why is it on the ballot?
Because
why is it on the ballot? It's not on the ballot.
It's on the ballot in the court.
I don't think so.
In the court. Well,
there's nothing happening there.
Donald, would you just be quiet for a minute?
And you don't know her view on Roe v. Wade. You don't know her view.
Here's the deal. The fact is that everything he's saying so far is simply a lie. I'm not here to call out his lies. Everybody knows he's a liar.
But you
I just want to make sure.
Joe, you're the liar.
I want to make sure.
Graduated last in your class, not first in your class.
I want to make
Mr.
sure.
Mr. President, can you let him finish, sir?
The issue is the American people should speak. You should go out and vote. You're in voting now. Vote and let your senators know how strongly you feel. Vote now.
Are you going to pack the
Make
court?
sure you, in fact, let people know
He doesn't want
you're a
to answer the
senator.
question.
I'm not going to answer the question
Why
because
wouldn't you answer that
because
question?
the question
you want to
is
put a lot of
the
new
question
Supreme
is
Court justice,
the
radical
question,
left.
Will you shut up, man?
Listen, who is on your list, Joe?
This
Who's
is
on your
so
list?
right.
Gentlemen, I think
This
we've
is
ended
so
this.
He's going to pack the
unpresidential.
court.
We have
I'm not going to give a list.
We have ended this segment. We're going to move on to the second segment.
That was really a productive segment, wasn't it? Keep yapping, man.
The people understand, Joe.
From September of 2020, the two candidates then talking about abortion, an issue that could come up tonight. We're asking all of you, what issue do you want them to talk about? Melinda in Carlsbad, you're supporting a third-party candidate, is that right?
Yes, I am.
And who? Which candidate?
I am actually very excited about RFK Jr., regardless if he is included in this debate. I believe he's talking about what is really important to the United States people.
So are you going to be watching his reaction in response to the two candidates on X?
I will be doing both simultaneously. However, what really concerns me all about this debate was, and this is went on with the primaries as well, it's censorship. I would love either candidate that is on the stage tonight to speak about censorship, but, you know, why would we not include a third candidate that has submitted appropriate amount of signatures, but the states would not certify them? I just, you know, I think average Americans are feeling more disenfranchised every day. And I care about chronic illness. I'm particularly concerned about the 5 states, starting with Kansas, that are suing Pfizer. I've seen a lot of businesses go under, people losing their houses during COVID. And I was very Democratic, pro-Biden at that time. I was like really believing in, oh, this is what's saving us. And I feel very duped. And then watching how the primaries have went down, Florida just said Biden's only won in a primary. Why would I want to support the Democratic Party, who has had my total loyalty? I've worked for them, and I'm extremely disappointed.
All right.
So, yeah, I like the ideas, and thank you for giving me a voice. I appreciate C-SPAN.
Absolutely, Melinda. Adrian, Lakeland, Florida, supporting President Biden.
Yes, hello.
Hi, Adrian. What issues do you want the two to debate tonight?
Well, first of all, let me say I've been watching President or ex-President Trump since the 1980s. And all he has ever done was rip off people, bankrupt companies, and lie. The slogan for him should be, the truth is I always lie. That's all he does. For this country to go and support an insurrectionist and the people in Congress who support him, the 118th Congress has got nothing done. Nothing, because of these inadequate people that have been elected to serve him over our Constitution. When everybody takes an oath, this is including the Supreme Court, whoever takes the oath, they're not merely words on a page. They mean something.
All right. Adrian's thoughts there in Florida. Several of you have already mentioned the issue of immigration likely to come up again tonight, border security, et cetera. Immigration and border security brought up in 2020 during the two debates as well. This is what the two candidates were saying on it at the second and final debate of 2020 in Nashville.
Mr. President, your administration separated children from their parents at the border, at least 4,000 kids. You've since reversed your zero-tolerance policy, but the United States can't locate the parents of more than 500 children. So how will these families ever be reunited?
Children are brought here by coyotes and lots of bad people, cartels, and they're brought here, and they used to use them to get into our country. We now have as strong a border as we've ever had. We're over 400 miles of brand new wall. You see the numbers, and we let people in, but they have to come in legally, and they come in through merit.
But how will you reunite these kids with their families,
Let me just tell you,
Mr. President?
they built cages. You know, they used to say, I built the cages, and then they had a picture in a certain newspaper, and it was a picture of these horrible cages, and they said, look at these cages. President Trump built them, and then it was determined they were built in 2014. That was him.
Do you have a plan to reunite the kids?
Yes, we're working on it we're trying very hard. But a lot of these kids come out without the parents. They come over through cartels and through coyotes and through gangs.
These 500-plus kids came with parents. They separated them at the border to make it a disincentive to come to begin with. Real tough. We're really strong. And guess what? They cannot, it's not coyotes didn't bring them over. Their parents were with them. They got separated from their parents. And it makes us a laughing stock and violates every notion of who we are as a nation. Parents were ripped, their kids were ripped from their arms and separated. And now they cannot find over 500 sets of those parents, and those kids are alone. Nowhere to go. Nowhere to go. It's criminal. It's criminal.
Let me ask
Kristen,
you about
I will say this. They went down. We brought reporters, everything. They are so well taken care of. They're in facilities that were so clean.
But some of them haven't been reunited
But
with their
just ask
families.
one question. Who built the cages? I'd love you to ask him that. Who built the cages?
Let me ask about your immigration policy, Mr. Vice President. The Obama administration did fail to deliver immigration reform, which had been a key promise during the administration. It also presided over record deportations as well as family detentions at the border before changing course. So why should voters trust you with an immigration overhaul now?
Because we made a mistake. It took too long to get it right. It took too long to get it right. Within 100 days, I'm going to send to the United States Congress a pathway to citizenship for over 11 million undocumented people. And all of those so-called dreamers, those DACA kids, they're going to be immediately certified again to be able to stay in this country and put on a path to citizenship. The idea that they are being sent home by this guy, and they want to do that, is they've gone to a country they've never seen before. I can imagine you're 5 years old, your parents are taking you across the Rio Grande River, and it's illegal. And you say, oh, no, Mom, leave me here. I'm not going to go with you. They've been here. Many of them are model citizens. Over 20,000 of them are first responders out there taking care of people during this crisis. We owe them.
Kristen, he had 8 years to do what he said he was going to do. And I've changed without having a specific. We got rid of catch and release. We got rid of a lot of horrible things that they put in and that they lived with. But he had 8 years he was vice